A judge in the Diddy Combs trial has officially dismissed a juror. Prosecutors had requested the juror be removed due to, quote, lack of candor. The defense argued they just wanted to dismiss a black juror.
A juror in the Diddy Combs case has been dismissed by the judge.
The judge said he gave conflicting answers when asked a pretty basic question: where do you live? And during jury selection, he said he lived in the Bronx. He then mentioned somewhat casually to a court staff member that he had moved to New Jersey.
Juror number 6 will be excused. There were questions about his candor, inconsistent statements that he made that the judge learned about and basically said
his team put in a request for a mistrial if the judge removed juror number 6, which he did.
Now, the defense had said that they wanted to make sure that it didn't affect the diversity of the jury, but the judge noted that in actuality, this jury is very diverse. 8 men, 4 women, and at least 5 people of color, even when you consider the removal of the juror number 6, who is a black man.
What's good, trial watchers? We need to talk because the Diddy Combs trial just hit another wild plot twist that has everyone questioning everything. We're 6 weeks into this federal case, and suddenly juror number 6 is getting the boot for allegedly lying during jury selection. This isn't just any regular courtroom hiccup we're talking about. We're talking about potential deception, jury tampering concerns, and a judge who's not playing games when it comes to the integrity of this trial. The timing? Suspicious. The implications? Huge. Hit that like button because this courtroom tea is piping hot. Subscribe because when federal trials get messy, we're here for every detail. This is a 41-year-old who works in communications at a correctional facility. And honey, his story has more holes than Swiss cheese. During jury selection back in May, this man told the court he lived in the Bronx with his fiancée and daughter. Simple answer to a simple question, right? Wrong. Fast forward to week 5 of the trial, and suddenly he's telling court employees that he recently moved to New Jersey to live with his girlfriend. But wait, there's more. When Judge Arun Subramanian started digging deeper, the stories kept changing. First, it was the Bronx with his fiancée and daughter, then it was New Jersey with his girlfriend, then it was staying in New York 4 or 5 nights a week, then it was living with his aunt in the Bronx. The judge basically said, "Sir, which lie are we going with today?" Because the inconsistencies were so blatant that it raised serious questions about whether this man was deliberately trying to get on this jury for some agenda. Now, you might be thinking, why does where someone lives matter that much? Oh, honey, let me educate you because this goes deep. Federal court rules are strict. You can only serve on a Manhattan federal jury if you live in New York State, specifically in the Southern District. If juror number 6 really moved to New Jersey, he's automatically disqualified. But here's the kicker. Did he know this rule and lie to stay on the jury? That's the million-dollar question that has everyone spiraling. Judge Subramanian said the changing answers and inconsistency give the court worry about deception and lying. And when a federal judge is questioning your honesty during a case this high profile, you know it's serious. This isn't just about residency. This is about the integrity of the entire trial. If one juror can lie during selection, what does that say about the jury process? What agenda might he have had? Was he trying to help Diddy or hurt him? The conspiracy theories are flying. And let's be real, in a case involving a billionaire music mogul, sex trafficking charges, and potential life in prison, every detail matters. Diddy's defense team went hard trying to save juror number 6, and their arguments revealed just how strategic jury composition really is. Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson argued that splitting time between New York and New Jersey is very common, and the inconsistencies weren't significant enough for dismissal. But here's the tea. They specifically mentioned that losing this juror would hurt jury diversity. Juror number 6 is a middle-aged black man, and if he gets replaced by the alternate, a middle-aged white architect from Westchester, the jury becomes slightly older and whiter. Diddy's defense team went hard trying to save juror #6, and their arguments revealed just how strategic jury composition really is. Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson argued that splitting time between New York and New Jersey is very common, and the inconsistencies weren't significant enough for dismissal. But here's the tea. They specifically mentioned that losing this juror would hurt jury diversity. Juror #6 is a middle-aged black man, and if he gets replaced by the alternate, a middle-aged white architect from Westchester, the jury becomes slightly older and whiter. The defense literally called this a thinly veiled effort to dismiss a black juror and accused the prosecution of racial bias. They're essentially saying the government is using residency rules as an excuse to remove a potentially sympathetic black juror from a case involving a prominent black defendant. Donaldson told the judge that diversity is of paramount importance, which shows just how calculated jury selection really is. Every single person on that jury could determine whether Diddy spends the rest of his life in prison or walks free. The fact that they're fighting this hard to keep one juror shows you how important they think he is to their case. Judge Subramanian found himself in an impossible position because this decision could affect the entire trial. On one hand, he has clear evidence of inconsistent statements that suggest possible deception. On the other hand, he's being accused of racial bias for wanting to remove a black juror. The judge expressed serious concerns about whether keeping the juror would compromise a fair and impartial trial. He said there were serious questions about deception and lying, and that if someone is willing to lie about residency, what else might they lie about?
Judge Subramanian officially dismissed juror number 6 on Monday, replacing him with the alternate juror despite the defense's passionate arguments about diversity. The integrity of the trial won out over concerns about racial composition, but this drama shows just how high the stakes really are. This case isn't just about Diddy's guilt or innocence anymore. It's about whether the justice system can handle a case this complex and controversial without falling apart. When jurors are potentially lying to get on the jury, when defense teams are crying racial bias, and when every decision becomes a headline, you know we're in uncharted territory. The new juror will have to catch up on 6 weeks of testimony, including some of the most graphic and disturbing evidence imaginable. Talk about jumping into the deep end. What do you think? Was juror #6 trying to help or hurt Diddy by lying to get on the jury? Is this racial bias or legitimate integrity concerns? Drop your theories below because this trial keeps getting wilder by the day. Smash that like button if this courtroom drama has you glued to your screen. Subscribe for more trial coverage that goes beyond the headlines, and hit that bell because when federal trials get this messy, you want to be the first to know about every twist.